Hey y'all, I'm Vicki Drobness and I'm a Ruby Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and welcome to our Health and Happiness in a Half Hour No Teacher Left Behind event. So we are thrilled that you are here with us tonight, and our guests were having a little bit of technical difficulties getting going. So I'm going to go ahead and start and tell you a little bit about my story, and then Anita and Kelly will be popping on shortly. So I got started with Plexus about 3 years ago, actually right at 3 years ago last week. And my story with Plexus is that I had been very healthy. I'm a fitness trainer by trade, and I had gotten started, had been dealing with some health issues that we couldn't figure out what was going on. Now, before I became a fitness trainer, I was a high school teacher. So those of you who are teachers, I totally get the stress, the poor food choices that you have, I should say poor food choices, poor food options that you have, the needing to have caffeine to help you get through the day, and let's just talk about the stress of the testing. We'll just go ahead and put that out there. So I left teaching in 2010 simply because it had gotten that stressful and it was really taking a toll on my health. And I worked in healthcare for a little bit, but then I still kept, even though I was eating very healthy, I still kept having problems with not only my digestion, but I started having other things. I was exhausted all the time. I was having panic attacks. I was just, my moods were just awful. You just ask my husband, he'll tell you the moods were just awful. And I just didn't understand what was going on. So I went to a doctor who did not take insurance, so that way we could test whatever we wanted to. And at first he did the standard test, which was a good thing for him to do. And he found that I remember him calling me and he said, wow, he said, this is great. You have the heart of a 16-year-old athlete. And I thought, wow, that's wonderful. Because I was in my late 40s at the time. I was like, great. Why do I feel so bad? Hey, and so we did a little bit more testing. And one of the tests that he did had to do with how you reacted to foods. And it did this whole test of I think it was like 180 different foods that you could test to see what your reaction was to them. My reaction was that I had over 66 problems with these foods. And it was a whole bunch of different foods. It wasn't just, okay, nuts or dairy or vegetables. It was everything. And even some foods that I don't ever recall ever having. Halibut. As far as I know, I never had halibut. I mean, maybe I did in a fish stick somewhere, but I just never, there were some things on there that I didn't. I think one of them was goat milk. And I knew I'd never had goat milk before. So it just didn't make any sense. His solution to that was do what is called an elimination diet. And that's what most doctors will suggest. And so I did, but it was really hard to, because we had lettuce on there, cherries, avocados. Y'all, I cried over that one. All kinds of issues that I had with food that I just could not figure out what was going on. And so I stopped eating those foods. But the problem began whenever I had those foods that I had stopped eating and replaced them. I ended up started to have reactions with those. And the way that I would feel, sometimes it would be bloating, just feeling icky in my tummy. At other times it was it would even get to like my lips and tongue tingling. I felt like I had on a tight turtleneck. And just really just feeling awful. And then I remember I would have salsa, or tomatoes were one of my worst offenders, and I would have a scoop of salsa, and within 20 minutes I am already having problems where I look like I'm 6 months pregnant. Again, not good when you're in your late 40s. So about that time, my dear friend Charlotte was sharing about Plexus. And at first, my thought was probably like some of y'all may have, I'm not interested in this stuff. It's a scam. It's artificial. It can't do everything it says. All these things probably that I know they went through my mind. Well, what I ended up finding out was that there was a gut health component to it. And I did not have any type of testing for that but I now realized what it was that I had happen. And so this is where I ended up discovering Plexus, and I got started. My husband immediately noticed that my mood was a lot better and that I ended up feeling just absolutely amazing. And within 6 weeks, I was able to have a slice of my mother's 75th birthday cake, because I mean, really, how often does your mother turn 75? So like I said, I've been on the products for 3 years. Every single thing on that list now that the doctor told me to avoid, I can now have. And of course, once I've discovered all of this, you could not shut me up about Plexus, and you still can't. And so I will tell everybody about these products because I've seen what they do. They will do for me, as well as just hundreds and hundreds of people that I've met. And so it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing journey of personal growth and development, and a totally unexpected business. I did not go into this with the idea of I was going to have some type of a business. It was simply just to get my products paid for at the best price. And you can do that with Plexus. You do not have to go sell or hold parties or even do what we're doing tonight. Hey, totally up to you. Share with a few friends, help get your products paid for. Totally cool on that. I see our guests have joined in. Yay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kelly. And Kelly and I just met this week. She's a friend of a friend, but I get the feeling we're going to become good friends. And so let me see. Let me unmute you. All right. Say something, Kelly.
Hey, can you hear me?
Can hear you. All right. Go ahead and take it away and tell us your story. Thank you for being here.
Hey, I am super, super excited, and I don't even know if you're recording this or not, but hopefully people can see this. But my name is Kelly Parrott, and I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. My journey is just different, as everybody else's is different. I am, or was, I should say I was a kindergarten teacher for 21 years. It was my passion. It was what I loved. It was the only thing that I ever wanted to do, was to be a kindergarten teacher. I loved it. I even became a nationally board certified teacher because I wanted to be the best teacher that I could be. So I worked hard. I worked every weekend in my classroom. I was always up there either all day on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon after church, or both. It depended. And I also stayed late. And sorry, I'm sorry. My computer just updated and all these things are like popping up. But it was something that I loved. And a little over 3 years ago, in March of 2014, my best friend, who was also a kindergarten teacher, we actually co-taught together, and we absolutely loved it. Like, it was our dream job. We had our own classrooms, and we moved to this new building that was, our classrooms are only 21 inches apart. So we shared kids. We would teach the morning in my room and the afternoon in her room. And we were happy. We loved it. Neither one of us were looking for anything else. And she's always been conscious about her weight, always tried to lose weight. She even became a Weight Watchers leader. She's been a Weight Watchers member for since college, and she saw a friend posting about Plexus, and so she contacted her. And I found out about that. She was telling me that she was going to do Plexus, and we were driving down the highway, and I looked at her, and not in a kind voice and not in a kind way, I looked at her and I said, "Well, you're just stupid. I can't believe you're going to do that. Have you lost your mind? Like, you've done Weight Watchers, you've taken diet pills, you've done all these things. Why? Why are you doing this?" And I was just mad about it. I wasn't happy about it because her Weight Watchers ruled my life. It ruled where we could go eat. It ruled because she had to save so many points for the weekend. And if there was a party or something we wanted to go to, or a birthday party, we had to save enough points for cake, or it was annoying. And I thought, here we go again. And she's like, "Well, I'm going to sign up for Plexus." Well, the other part of my story is I've had gastric bypass surgery 2 times. So I had it back in 2004 and again at 2005. The first surgery I thought was successful. I lost all of my weight and then some. I lost over 120 pounds in like 3 months. which was amazing. And what I found out, though, several months later is they had done it wrong. And so for that whole year that I'd had gastric, I got no nutrition. So I was dwindling away to nothing. I was skinny. I was real skinny, but I was real unhealthy. I was actually more unhealthy, skinny, than I ever was obese. And that's very, very sad. So I was mad at her because I didn't think I could take these products. I knew I couldn't. I haven't had a hamburger. I haven't had steak. I haven't had any kind of beef since 2004. So I'm one of those people that, you know, if the doctor says something, I do it. A lot of people that had the surgery that I have gain their weight back. That's because it fixes you down here, but it doesn't fix you up here. So most people gain their weight back. I wasn't going to be one of those people. But I came back, when I came home from the hospital after my second surgery, I was at 99 pounds and I had to come home with a PICC line in my arm and I couldn't eat. I had to start getting monthly iron infusions. I had to start getting B12 shots. I would literally, every time I would eat anything, I would pass out every time because my blood sugars were like this and this and this. And it was just an awful way to live. But I said I wasn't going to be fat in 40, and I wasn't. I was just unhealthy in 40, but I wasn't going to be fat in 40. And here I am. I have 4 kids now, and I'm trying to be a school teacher. The other thing that happened after my second gastric bypass surgery is I couldn't sleep. I literally never made it to my bed. I would fall asleep on the couch, usually cutting out laminating or making games for my classroom, and I would fall asleep with the lights on and the TV on about 3 or 4 in the morning, just kind of back like this with my head like back. And my husband would get up about 6 o'clock in the morning and come in there and wake me up and say, you know, you got to get ready for school. And I would get up, I would get the kids up, I would get showered, I'd get to school, I'd do my thing. I don't know how I was living. I really, really don't. When I would go get my monthly iron infusions, my levels were down to sometimes a 2, most of the time a 4. And I think normal was up in the 20s. So they were like, they couldn't even believe I had energy to walk or even stay awake. But I didn't really know how bad I was feeling. So back to my best friend, she signed up for Plexus. She was a teacher. And so she made me sign up as an ambassador. I was not given a choice because when your best friend does something, you do something to support her. So my husband had blood sugar issues. And so she's like, you know, the Slim can help him. It regulates your blood sugar. I think you should sign up and order products for him at the discount price. So that's what I did. I never intended to share it, never intended to sell it. I haven't ever sold one thing in my life. I've never sold a basket, a Tupperware, a legging, a jewelry, a nothing, okay? My kids, I wouldn't even let them go door to door to sell like the little athletic cards that they would get. I would just give them all the money they needed so that we wouldn't have to go ask anybody because it made me uncomfortable. So I don't like selling. It's not who I am. And my husband lost 3 pant sizes in about 4 months. He came off all of his diabetes meds and he came off his blood pressure medicine. And it changed his life. So over here, my best friend's like, I really think you should try Plexus. So to get her off of me, I said, okay, I'll try it. I'll try it. So what I did is I did a half a packet of the original Slim, did a half a packet in the morning, and I did the other half of the packet in the afternoon after lunchtime. And it changed my life. I started the first night that I took that pink drink. I went to bed at 10 o'clock at night and I slept till 6 a.m. the next morning. And I've done that ever since. I was able after about 3 months to no longer have to get iron infusions ever again. I stopped passing out every time I ate. I had a lot of hip and joint discomfort. Like, I would sit on the floor and play games with my kindergarten kids, and I would get up and I was acting like an 80-year-old woman trying to walk across my classroom. That went away. So those things changed my life. And I know I've talked a long time, and I'm not going to go into all the stories, My son's story, my 19-year-old son's story, is the most amazing story you will ever hear about Plexus. And it's why I am so passionate, and I will never stop sharing, because when Plexus changes the future of your kid, you will never stop sharing. So I know that Plexus changes lives. It's changed everybody in my family. I have 4 teenagers now. I have 19, 17, 15, and 14. And not one of us has been to the doctor for any kind of sickness in 3 years. Not one. And one of them was getting weekly allergy injections. And one of them had a monthly sinus infection. And one of them was on medication for focus and attention. And a lot of us were on medications because we were struggling with anxiety. A lot of us were on different kind of medications. So when I went to Target each week or each month, the pharmacist knew me by name. And they would go to the P section and grab all the letter P prescriptions, and they would come and hand them to me. And we haven't been to the doctor in 3 years, and that's really, really incredible. And I have to tell you this, it dawned on me today. I was driving down the road, and I was thinking about my 19-year-old. I thought, how many people have a kid that went to college for the first time, like this just past year, and their college kid is living in a dorm, is eating in the cafeteria with all the other kids, in the classes with the same kids, and yet they were not sick. How many people can say that? Because I know when I went to college as a freshman all those years ago, I was very sick my first year, and he didn't get sick at all. So that was pretty incredible. I have to tell you that this, and I'm going to close because I know other people need to talk, but I never intended to share or sell. That's something, I was going to be a teacher till I was 65 and retiring and probably getting off the nursing home van in my wheelchair and finishing up my teaching. I just turned 50 years old in April, and I feel better now. And I think I actually look better now than I did when I was 30. And that's a pretty incredible thing to say. I just started sharing what happened to my family and what happened to me and what happened to my friends on Facebook. And people came to me. And so I built this incredible business that I didn't even know when I started. I didn't even know what network marketing was. I just knew it was something I didn't want to do. I remember my best friend in childhood doing an MLM, and I remember their garage space was filled with inventory that they had to get rid of. And I knew that I didn't want to do anything like that. And so I built my business on Facebook, and just really, I don't sell anything still. I'm an Emerald Ambassador, which means that I now have a Lexus, and I get to go to Hawaii every September for free. And I get a lot of other perks, which are pretty incredible. I can't wait for everybody to do this because anybody can. But it's not something, that's not who I am. I'm not a salesman, but I share from my heart. I share because these products work. I share because I would feel bad if I didn't share something that could help other people. So I do want to touch on this because I think this is a lot about teachers. You can do this business even as a full-time teacher, okay? I had to sacrifice to do this. So Christine and I worked together. The first year we did this. The second year we worked together. The last year I taught all by myself. She had already retired the year before. So you can work it a little bit and go slower, or you can sacrifice and get up earlier before you go to school. You can work it on weekends, and you can work it in the evenings. And I worked it in my lunch hour. I quit eating in that lounge with all those other teachers. I quit having social time. I worked in my classroom. I messaged people. I watched training videos on my smartboard. I worked during when the kids were at specials. And let me tell you what else I did. I left at 4 o'clock every day. I quit staying late, and I quit going up on a weekend because you know what? No one cared. No one cared that I spent that time up there. And nobody said, oh, Kelly, we're so glad you came up to work at school on this weekend. Nobody cared. Nobody ever told me thank you for doing that anyway. And instead of my best friend and I creating more or creating newer stuff, we just used the same stuff we'd always used. We created because it was good stuff. We just were getting bored with the stuff. So that's why we changed it. It wasn't because it wasn't working. And so we just quit doing all that mess and we started just pouring into our business. And so she retired in June of 2015. And we didn't retire. We haven't got a retirement yet, but she quit in June of 2015 and I quit in May of 2016. And it's pretty incredible to be able to do that. So yay!
Oh, wow. Kelly, thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. And
yeah,
I would love for you, if you can, just to maybe write up if you've got something about what happened with your son, and share that in the group and just post that, just a little something and just share it, because I'm sure
I would love to do that.
I'm sure it will speak to somebody.
He actually made a video with me at Christmas time, which is very, very cool. I'll just tell you a little bit about him, and then when you watch the video, you'll know more. But he was put on medication for attention issues at 2nd grade, and very socially awkward, never went to a birthday party, didn't have any friends, lived in his room, never went outside to play. And we were able to take him off all of his medication his junior year and put him on the triplex combo. And it totally changed his life. And so he actually went to a private Christian school his senior year and played football. And that's just crazy to think that happened. But I will share, I had him do an interview with me kind of and tell his story this past Christmas. So I'll put that up there for y'all to see.
That would be great. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing with us. And I love your story. That's so true. And I remember those days of just staying and staying and staying. And and you were right. Nobody noticed, nobody cared.
And I think the sad thing is, and I don't know if it's the case for you, but here I have 4 kids, and my oldest one graduated not this past year, but the year before. And I never went to one of his class parties. And I think that year that he was a senior, it just all hit me with a ton of bricks, because I thought, I have missed all his parties. Yeah, I could run down the hallway and say hi and snap a picture, but I never got to stay for a whole party. I never got to go on a field trip. I missed so many things with my own kids, even as a teacher. And they grow up too fast. And we have all these young mothers now that have this incredible opportunity to get on board this. And I will share with you too, because I hope this, and shut me down if I'm talking too long. I'm just sorry, I got a lot to say. Last June, my prayer was that I would have some teachers from my school join me on this journey. And what happened through this journey, and this is a whole nother training, is there's a lot of negative people out there that want you to fail. They don't want you to succeed. They think you've lost your mind, and they're not supportive. And so that is what happened with me at my school, is they actually saw my best friend, Christine, walk away, who now is, let me just say, a diamond ambassador with Plexus worldwide at the top of the company. And we just had to put our blinders on, and we had to go. We had to go because guess what? Those people didn't pay my bills. Those people didn't do anything for me. So I put my blinders on and went. And I taught that last year by myself. And so we had this group of 1st grade teachers that I love so, so much. And when I walked away, they came to me and said, hey, we want to know more about Plexus. That was an answer to a prayer. I'd actually prayed about that because I wanted them to join me on my journey, because they were young moms. And I knew they could do really well in this business. And I knew that they had young kids. And I just thought, if I'd had this opportunity when I was their age, how incredible it would have been not to miss all this stuff that I missed. So last June, a year ago, they joined me on this journey, and they are all senior golds. They just turned senior gold in, I think, April or May. And so it's been incredible to watch, and they're hoping, well, they're not hoping, I know, this is going to be their last year to teach if they want. They're going to teach this one more year, and then they're going to be ready to walk away or put their kids in private school or whatever they want to do, they'll be able to do. So it's exciting.
Right. And the great thing is that it gives you options. If you want to continue teaching, that's great, but it gives you options that you cannot get anywhere else.
And I think a lot of teachers feel bad for saying they don't want to do this anymore. And stop saying that. Stop saying that. Stop feeling guilty about that. Stop it. I'm in Oklahoma. We're the lowest paid state in the United States of America. And they don't care about you. They don't. And I love teaching. I loved everything about it, but I love my family more. And I want to be there for them. I want to be able to last summer, I took them on a beach vacation for a week, cash paid. I want to take them to places. I want to experience things with them. I want to be home when I have grandkids. I want to keep my grandkids. I want those options. If by all means, if you want to teach, please teach. But you know, people ask me every day, well, don't you just miss teaching? Well, guess what? I don't, because this is what I get to do. I still teach. I teach people every single day. I teach them how to be, how they can make money and how they can help other people be healthy. Like, it's a big difference. And now I just looked, and 2 years ago, I had 200 people on my team. And today I have over 2,000 people on my team. So I'm impacting more people doing this than I ever did as a teacher. So it's pretty incredible.
It is. It is. Kelly, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. All right. Anita. Hi. Let's see. Wait a second. Let me turn you up here. All right. Say something again.
Okay. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, there you are. Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about your story. Both you and I shared a little bit last week, but I would love for you to tell maybe a little bit more about the teacher side of it, because we didn't really talk about that.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, Kelly, wow, that was amazing. Your story is like ditto over here. I am a teacher also. I teach, I'm a dyslexia specialist, so I teach kindergarten through 6th grade, and I have kids coming in and out of my door all day long. I have about 40 some students that they come to me in groups of 5 and 6. So I love teaching, just like Kelly. It's my passion to teach people. It's my joy to see them succeed and be successful. When I get my students, I usually get them. I also test the students to see who qualifies for that instruction. And when I test them, they're generally at the end of 1st grade, sometimes middle 1st grade. So I have my students sometimes for 5 years. So I'll get them in 1st grade and have them all the way to 6th grade. And sometimes in kindergarten, they start with me. But I love, I get attached to them. I'm like their second mama. They even call me mom sometimes. And I know that happens to several of you. But I love doing what I do. But like Kelly, I am so tired of the hours that I put in. And just like she said, I am one of those teachers. Yes, there are some I know that leave as soon as the bell rings or shortly after, but I am one of those that I stay late to grade papers, reports. I have a lot of reports to do because of the position that I have. I have to turn in reports all the time and keep record for progress on kids for our intervention state records. And so that's it's very time consuming to do that. Anyway, I'm like her. I was there every night, sometimes till 6 o'clock at night. I would leave late all the time. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. You know, people used to, I had an aunt that would watch kids and said, you know, she wanted their parents there. Their parents were teachers and wanted them there right when school let out. And I was like, no, you don't understand. People don't understand. We don't leave right when school lets out. We're there till very late. But, and then you take it home, like Kelly said, and you work on it at home too. So I love doing what I'm doing, but I also love doing Plexus. And I'm like Kelly and Vicki. I did not plan on selling this at all. I came into Plexus 3 years ago, and this is actually my anniversary day today of being with Plexus. Yes, as an ambassador for 3 years. And so I started taking it to lose weight. Little did I know all of the things that it was going to help me with besides that. So my story is kind of I'm in that premenopausal stage, still am. And at the time that I started it, I had been struggling with all kinds of issues that my gynecologist was telling me was hormonal because of all the premenopause that I, was going through and all. And one of the big things was I have always had since college this intense pressure that would build up in my head, and it would send me to a quiet, dark room many times. I know some of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about, and even make me sick to my stomach. I would have to leave work sometimes because I was throwing up. And I had those since college, but not near, I mean, it might have been once every 6 months or once every 3 months. But as I started going through menopause, I had them horribly. And it was every week, sometimes 2, 3 times a week. And I couldn't get rid of them. I would take my medication, and I would even send my husband to the gas station up the street to get me a Dr. Pepper. And I just, because I tried not to drink those, I love them. I was an addict. That's a whole other story. But this was, I just could not get rid of the headaches. Oh, sorry, the pain in my head. And so I noticed the second month that I was on Slim, just Slim is all I started on. I noticed, I said something to my husband and said, you know what? I have not had that pain in my head in over a week. I wonder if that helps with that. I had no idea. And so I Googled it and saw that it does help with that, because sugar is your body's hormone, it helps with the hormones. And so obviously if it balances your blood sugar, it's balancing your hormones, which was all my problem, was hormonal issues that was making them so intense and so horrible. And so literally it has been, I would like to say I haven't had any of that pain in my head, but I have had 2 in the 3 years since I started on it. And so that is life-changing for me. And I know I had been praying for quite some time for God to just help me to get away from that. And it has been a blessing that I know He brought into my life. I know I'm probably running out of time because we're short. I don't want to keep everybody long, but some of the other things I was having issues with was those hormonal blues that would just come out of nowhere, and you felt like slapping everybody that came up to you. And let me just say that my husband noticed also in July, I think it was in July, it might have been June, the second month, he was like, you are much nicer now. I think you need to stay on that stuff. Because I was going to get off of it because I hadn't lost any weight yet. But you know what? It takes time. It's a process, and it's healing from the inside out. One of the other things that I suffered with, or some of the other things, was sleeplessness at night, just like Kelly said. I could not sleep at night. I would lay awake at night. I would also have night sweats, like horrendously, waking up drenched. I had hot flashes like no other during the daytime. And all of that is gone. I have not had any of that. I sleep like a baby all night long. And if I don't set an alarm, I just wake up pleasantly every morning, and it's wonderful. One other thing I wanted to share, later I started on the, what we call the triplex. So I started on the BioCleanse and the ProBio 5, added that to my Majorel about 2 months later, and started losing the weight. I actually lost a couple of pounds before that, but also was losing inches and didn't realize it because my jeans were getting baggy. And so 2 months later, I started dropping weight and ended up losing 20 pounds. My husband has a whole other story where he even lost more weight. Yeah, I know, so exciting. And it also brought his triglycerides down from 680 to 340. He's back here jumping up and down in the background. Yeah, 340 in 3 months at his 3 month check. And then in 3 months later, brought it down to normal. So no longer has problems with his cholesterol. He's bounced it up and down in the background over here, a little cheering squad. But then I started on X Factor. And after I started on our X Factor, I also have a problem with iron in my blood and have never been able to donate blood since I had children. And my iron counts came up, and a lady at our church, they were having a blood drive for her. And I went to donate just to see if I could. And I could. They sent me to the computer to fill out the information. I was like, are you serious? I can give. And so am no longer anemic, and I schedule regularly to give blood. So super excited that it changed that also. And I wanted to also say that my husband had struggled with allergies all of our life. Ever since I've known him, he's been on allergy medicine and has asthma. And 3 months ago, right in the middle of allergy season, he just informed me that he was going to stop taking his allergy medicine that he's taken all of his life. And he was going to stop it and see if he could do okay without it. He had started on the Mega X at night. And then also I made him up his ProBio because he was only taking one at night. And I am happy to say that we are in the end of June right now, and he has not had any issues with his allergy, and he's even been mowing all the time. It is crazy. We cannot get over it. Anyway, so, and I, ditto what Kelly said. If you are a teacher, stop letting it guilt you. I would feel guilty every time I tell somebody, I want to get doing good at this so that I can quit my job and start doing this. The reason I want to quit my job is because of all of the paperwork and the after hours stuff. It's not because of the kids. I love the kids. And yes, I'll miss them. But I also love helping people and the success stories and the text messages that I get when people's lives are changed from these products. So thank you for letting me share.
Oh, I'm so glad that you did, because yeah, we didn't really talk about this last week. Is our focus was a little something different, but that is so true. As you know, I miss the kids, but the nice thing about what I because I've taught high school is I'm now friends with a lot of them, and there are a lot of them that are on my team or they're my customers. And so I'm still helping them, and I'm helping them help their family. So it is that exponentially, it's not just one person, it's 4 people. And so you're helping more and more people to be able to be healthy. And if you're not healthy, it's not going to matter, what you do. It's just because you've got to be healthy. And I think that's one thing with teachers. We give so much of ourselves that we forget to take care of ourselves, and then we just pour everything out, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. And you have to replenish it. And like we said, if you want to stay teaching, that's fine. We are not here to try and say you've got to stop teaching or anything like that. If that's your passion, go for it. But if this could be where, even by sharing with a few people, to where you can get your products paid for, because we know teacher salaries, and to do that, or have a nice side income to where you don't need to do a summer job or don't need to have a second job after you leave your first one. And this one, you can work anywhere you have this. It's totally, totally worth it. And it is. It's just teaching. I like to say it's teaching without the standardized tests. So this went longer than we had planned, but I think you will all agree that Kelly's story was absolutely amazing. And I think everybody needed to hear that. I know I did. It was very inspiring to me. So I'm going to go ahead and leave off. We've had some additional posts that I've had done while we were chatting here. So remember that in order to earn the points to get the gift cards, that what you need to do is to like or comment, and each post will have that, to like or comment on there for the points, and we will tally those up tomorrow and then announce our gift card winners. And if you have any questions, please reach out to one of us, but definitely talk with the ambassador who invited you to our event tonight, because that person sees something in you, knows that you've been suffering, and knows that this could help you. Or they just would absolutely love to do this with you, like Kelly and her friend, her co-teacher, did together. And the friendships that you will make, Anita and I never met before Plexus, but we have become just the best of friends and help each other out. We're not even we're on the same big team, but we're sidelines, but we help each other out no matter what. And that's the beautiful thing. The culture of Plexus is unlike anything else that I've ever seen in either education or corporate America, and I've worked both. And this will make a difference. This will change your life. We say, what if this could change everything? It has, and it will. We promise you that. So thank you for tuning in. Anita, thank you for being here. And Kelly, I know she had to pop off. So Kelly, we thank you for being here too. And I'm going to go ahead and stop our broadcast, and just go ahead and comment and ask us any questions that you have about the products. I mentioned just a couple of the products there, but we've got a line of 18 products. We have a brand new catalog that's out. Let's see if I can do this where it doesn't get, anyway, there we go. Not quite so flash there. And amazing new products, 2 new amazing products that are really great, and we'd be happy to share about those with you. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and we will see you next week. Take care. Bye.